Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Somewhere in the eastern part of the country, and I guess if you're watching from Australia, I could just say good day. That works at any time of day. Got the matchup here between Kevin Cooey and, I'm going to apologize in advance, Kenan, and the last name is spelled W-I-P-F, and I've had to look up pronunciations. I believe it's Wipf, but it sounds awfully close to Whiff, and I hate calling a skip Whiff. That's just perhaps one of the most unfortunate names you could possibly have. Kevin Cooey with the last rock in the opening end of play was able to pick up 2 points. We are underway here in the second end. They just haven't marked the score yet for the first. Eric Martin threw up the center guard with his first. The come around by Max Cinnamon. And trying to follow it down, Eric Martin comes up a little short. It is a second center guard. Men and women both in action here this weekend. It's the men playing in this draw number 2. You'll see it on the curlingzone.com line scores as an 11 a.m. draw. but using staggered starts here in Edmonton. It's a 10-sheet facility, the Saville Curling Center, built in 2003, I believe. State-of-the-art facility, one of the national training centers for curling in Canada. So with 10 sheets, something that you've seen a lot in recent years at bigger facilities like this is they'll use a staggered start. It works great for the viewers because you'll do 5 sheets, start at one time. The ice crew preps the other 5 sheets. The other games start about an hour and a half later. So on the draw times online, it says 11 o'clock. If your favorite team isn't on the ice yet, they're probably not scheduled to start till 12:30. Works great for the crowd and local attendance. Also works very good for the ice makers because you don't have an ice crew trying to get 10 sheets ready all at the same time. And for the locals in attendance, you don't ever have a period of about an hour and a half where there's no games being played because the ice crew is the only one out there. Jack Gauthier with the double run back. Kills the shot stone and leaves it covered. Hard to tell from this view who shot rock. I would say it's probably the Cooey stone at the top of the 8-foot. Michael Kenan, the second for this Wipf team, will look for the come around. This Wipf team, a good young team, based out of Edmonton. Have to assume, they're based out of Calgary. I just had a game for the women, and I apologize, I don't know these players very well yet. I'm considerably older than most of them. There's a Max Cinnamon here, and there was Zoe Cinnamon playing lead for Serena Gray Withers this morning in the women's game I was covering, and boy, I'd be surprised if they're not related. Relatives here on the Cooey team. Jack Gauthier throwing the second stone is actually a cousin, I believe, to Tyler Tardy, who throws the third stones and is on the brush now trying to get some curl on that stone. Just touched the side of that yellow and skate to the back of the 4-foot. Another draw opportunity here for Michael Kenan. Chance to sit 2 behind cover. Nice line. It's going to be a little bit short. Still in a good position, though. It's in front of the tee line. Sitting first and third right now. Creates some difficulty for Kevin Cooey. A little risk if you try running anything back. Kevin Cooey is as good as there's ever been at judging angles and looking for ways to remove rocks, but part of that comes down to being patient. He's trying to set up a better angle on this one. corner freeze the red onto the yellow, you might have a chance to run something in later and kill both yellows. Would like to take away the path to that second shot stone at the back of the 4-foot as well. Brings that stone into the top of the 8-foot. It's probably about 4th or 5th for right now. It's got good angle on that yellow in the top of the 8, though. Kenan Wipf looking to play the double tap. Red onto the yellow, tap it up enough to sit 2 right now. You still have to get close to the nose. You don't want to roll too far out. This is going to get tight to the guard. And will chip off. That may leave Kevin Cooey the opportunity he was looking for to make some kind of a play red onto yellow. He might be able to get all the yellows going. If it misses the red at the back of the 4-foot, it's going to be awfully close to catching the one at the side of the 8. Looks like their first thought, and I guess it all depends on how you hit that first one. You can get a little, well, maybe just a sliver to the inside, but probably if you're hitting it on the nose, the first yellow catches the second yellow thin enough that you're probably taking that red at the back of the 4-foot with it. If you could get just a sliver to the inside of that red stone, you might be able to, what he's looking at now, catch that second yellow thick enough to miss the red, and then the yellow comes across and catches that red at the yellow at the side of the 8-foot. Expect 4 rocks to move here. Hard to know which 4, and the first one's not going to move very far because it should just jam. But Tyler Tardy certainly able to throw the weight for this shot. Nothing out of the brush early. You'd like to get close to the nose. Hair on the outside, so it does take the red at the back of the 4-foot, but spills both of those out and sits 2 at the top of the 4-foot, and that jam actually puts the edge of that rock just under cover, so I don't think there's a chance to make the double. Again, making a play on shot stone, and hard to tell from this angle whether or not he can be shot rock after this is done. It hits it on the nose. It could still be the Cooey stone shot rock. Boy, they rubbed a guard on the last one. This one's going to be awfully close as well, and it's on the gut front one as well. Maybe a little lighter than what they had in mind there. That's not going to kill anything. Just pushes it into the 12-foot. So it continues to be Kevin Cooey sitting 2. Oh, there's a double available now. Third shot rock belongs to Wipf behind his own 2 corners. Difficulty for Kevin Cooey now is where do you put this third stone? There's a double there now. You certainly don't want to leave a chance for a triple. Hard to do anything with that double that's there now without leaving, or potentially leaving a chance for all three. Come around on the wide in turn, but that might leave a triple. Looking at the run back, I think, the tight yellow guard onto the stone at the back of the 12-foot. And if you don't catch the one at the back, you roll the shooter in. And then at least that stone will be open for the last one. So good at these runbacks, Kevin Cooey, and with the weight he's throwing, if he does hit it just a little bit off and rolls in towards those two reds, he could spread them out enough to not leave any kind of a double too. Needs to get just across the nose. He's close. Catches the back one. Doubles the yellows and actually might have got the shooter into the rings. Hard to tell. You can see a little bit of white from this angle, but the camera's over the center hole. You need to look from over top of the rock. Saw Jack Gauthier trying to, after it stopped sweeping, so he maybe thinks it's out and he should have been sweeping it for that little bit of roll. Now for Kenan Wipf, if you're going to try to score your two, you almost have to come around. The danger is there's two red stones that if you make this too good, Kevin Cooey's just going to run one of them onto the stone you're about to throw and might not be able to score. Tough opening draw for this Wipf team facing Kevin Cooey, always strong in these events. Gave up two in the first. Looking to put his first stone here in this second end in a position where he might be able to get a chance to get the 2 points right back. Nice line by the guard. Now where's it going to stop? This might be a little strong. Tyler Tardy on the brush at the tee line, brings it to the back 8 foot. Does stop in time to be shot rock. The one benefit to being that far back is that even if Kevin Cooey makes this run back, you're going to have a shot to score. If he elects to play the draw and leaves it in front of the tee line somewhere, you're going to have a double. You can score that one at the back of the 12, or pardon me, the back of the 8. So you're going to have a shot to score somehow or another. Kevin makes his way down to the hacks. Mind the viewers, there's 20 teams here in the men's play, 20 in the women's as well. They're playing in pools of 5. Round robin. Everybody will play 4 games against the other 4 teams in their own pool, and then 1 team outside of their pool to make up 5 games. And at the conclusion of the round robin pools, 8 teams advance to the playoffs. We'll have all of the action, both men and women, all weekend long here on the curling stadium. Kevin Cooey made a couple nice draws to the 4 foot in the first end to pick up a deuce. looking to potentially set up the steal here in the second. At the very least, make it a difficult shot for Kenan Wipf to score, but this looks a little strong, and he's got more line. Come down to the back one, nudges it a little bit, but stays in a spot where I don't think Kenan's got a shot for two anywhere. So he's going to look at just following it down. Same draw he made on his first one, maybe take a foot or two off of it. Looks like Cooey just sitting the one for now. Almost tapped that bar enough to be sitting two. Final stone, second in, Kenan Wipf. This one's got a little bit more line early. Sweeping from the offside, looking for curl now. Gonna be a little off the nose now. How far is it gonna roll? Will stop in time, so he'll pick up the single point. And after two ends of play, Kevin Cooey with a 2-1 lead. He'll have last rock in the third.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
2-1, Kevin Cooey in the lead as we begin play here in the third. Max Cinnamon throwing up the center guard with his first. Rushers working to get it back to that center line. 5 rock-free guard zone in play as always. The tick zone, no tick zone rule being used here as well in Edmonton. I think you'll see both of those rules pretty standard from this point forward.
It's pretty thin to make it that way, though. Yeah.
Apologies, I had a little technical difficulty there. Lost my mic, although you probably were just as happy not to listen to me. It's been a fairly routine end so far. Run back attempt missed the double peel though, and I think that top stone looks like it's still in the rings. So a chance to come around sit two. Nice come around here as he brings that stone into the top button area. It actually overcurls the red one and is buried behind that yellow that's biting the top 12. So Wipf sitting two right now. Kevin Cooey looking for the run back. Be Jack Gauthier with his second stone of the end. Going to be a little thin on the run. Simply will peel the guard out and roll the shooter out of play. So they'll look for a long guard now. Well aware of how good the Cooey team, and really all of these men's teams are at the run backs. You want as much separation between this stone and the one in the 12 foot as you can, so you don't have the chance to play a double. Nothing out of the brushers. They want to line it up, but they also don't want it to get too close together. And they definitely slid deeper than they would have liked. There's going to be angle for a double. You could almost get all three of them moving here if you hit this just right. Tyler Tardy with his first stone here in the third end. In turn for the left-hander. Eric Martin on the brush. This is going to be close to moving all three. Will kill the two in the rings. The jam stone at the top is now out of the ring, so it's two guards. Certainly if it comes right down to it, if it would be conclusion of the end, that stone would be close enough to split, so I expect to see Kevin Cooey treat it like it's in the rings. Make this come around good enough, you may see another double attempt on those two at the front. Rushers were on this right away. It's got lots of room, but you know it's going to finish. There it goes. Boy, good job from the Brushers. They knew early they had to go on that one to get it there. Switched the inside guy at the hog line to get a little bit more finish, and ends up with it probably a good 3/4 or a little more behind cover. Still only about 10 to 12 feet of separation between all three stones definitely a chance to get all three of them moving here. He can come just across the top, red onto the yellow, and the first one he maybe gets all the rocks to fly, including the shooter. This might have overcurled a bit though. Just clips the second guard. So Wipf's sitting one right now, looking at where to put this next stone. The two options they've discussed are to come around on the in-turn side or to play the tap on the out-turn. Certainly looks like this in-turn side curls enough that he can get to where a double would be very difficult. And those are the types of things you have to think about when you're playing against a Kevin Cooey, because if you leave him the angle for a double, he's going to miss more than he's going to make more than he'll miss, and he can get you in a lot of trouble in a hurry, or in this case, get into a blank situation in a hurry. Saw a draw from the Wipf team last end that overcurled the longer guard. It's a similar situation to this, although the red one or yellow one would have been higher up in the rings. But he actually managed to bury it around the yellow, so we know there's good movement coming across the middle. Doesn't want to be behind the tee line. Lots of room by the long guard, but when this starts to move, they'll have to watch that tighter one. Well, he's by it, but once again slides to the back 8 foot. Does force a decision from Kevin Cooey. It's debatable whether he can see enough of that top one to make the double. If you just hit it and roll over, you're sitting second shot. You give him a chance to come in again. Hard to make the draw without leaving the little tap. I think what Kevin's gone out to look at is, can we see enough to make the double? And if we can't, we might be playing the run. Part of that is if you play the run, if you're a little thin on it, you're just going to peel it out. You know you're going to have a shot with your last one to score. Play the draw, he makes the short runner on the stone on the top of the 8 foot, and you might not have a shot to score. That's the scary part of his shot. An option here, I guess, and I can't hear the players. You could come right down to the back one. If Kenan with his final stone follows you down, you'll have room to draw again and score your one. If he stays in front of the tee line, he probably leaves you a double. If you're in front of the tee line with this one on your own, he plays the short little tap, yellow onto the red, and then you're going to have a hard time scoring. Rushes are close. Looks like they're waiting for a line call. Looks like the line's going to be pretty good. Does look like they're coming right to the back one. So looking to follow that stone down. Can be back button here, force a very difficult shot for Kevin Cooey and perhaps get a steal. At the very worst, it's going to be a single. They jumped the brush early. Can't miss light. Brushers are really working this. Needs almost full forefoot to be second shot. Good job by the Brushers. They pull it right into the corner of the button. That's probably the best they could do with it. Kevin Cooey's going to have to move it to score. And I think they got enough curl. I mean, you look at it, if the Yellowstone wasn't there at the top of the 8-foot, he could probably get at it from the outturn side. That outstanding curl from the hog line in. I saw Tyler Tardy indicate hit the one at the top of the 8 over the top of the one that was just thrown into the 2 at the back. He's thinking blank. That's not to score 2. That's to lose everything. And that's what they're going to play. So trying to hit, it looks like maybe a thick half of the first yellow, just over the top. It might even be a little bit on the thin side of a half. That's what Tyler's looking at. Slightly over the top of the one that was just thrown, so that it comes straight back, clips the red. Everything flies. We could have a blank end here. Nothing out of the Brushers so far. He's going to be a little thin on the first one. Simply picks it across. It's a steal of 1 for Kenan Wipf, and he ties things up after 3 ends of play. It'll be Kevin Cooey with last rock again in the 4th.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
2-2 as we begin play here in the fourth end. Kevin Cooey with last rock. Center guard thrown up by Max Cinema. Carrick Martin being asked to throw the corner. Opening draw here of the men's division from the Saville Shootout. Again, 20 teams playing in pools of 5. Round robin play through to the playoffs. 8 teams will qualify for the playoffs. Playoff action begins Monday morning. All of the round robin and playoff action for you here on the Curling Stadium, Edmonton. Just to reiterate again, for most of these draws, they'll be using the staggered starts. So 10 games on the draw here at 11 o'clock, scheduled at 11 o'clock. You're looking on curlingzone.com, but 5 of them start at 11. The other 5 will start at 12:30. That's local time. So if your team isn't starting exactly when you think they are, they might be the staggered start. That stone comes to rest back of the 8-foot, so Kevin Cooey will simply ignore it, come around his corner guard. One other thing I should probably explain looking at the scoreboard, I had a question come up in the chat in the game I was doing earlier this morning, is that they use the baseball style, or that's the term that I was taught, the baseball style scoreboards here at the Saville Center, but they don't have enough numbers, I guess, perhaps. They're not putting up the zeros on the other side, so some confusion from some of the viewers this morning was over the scoreboard. And they haven't put up the totals at the end, which something you normally see in the baseball style scoreboards as well. Fifth rock of the end here, Michael Kenan looking for another come around. Would like to be in front of the tee line now. Important to position this stone well because they know Kevin Cooey can start hitting guards after this. They didn't get it buried. He could go after it directly, but I think he's probably more worried about the center guard, and there's probably angle there. He could get all 3 yellows. He might be more worried about keeping the shooter on the corner. If he's doing that, he's probably only getting 2 yellows at the most. Shock not looking happy with that. Jammed the second stone and rolled it into the corner of the 8-foot. He's a shooter for center guard as well. So it's Wipf sitting 2 right now. Chance to come around again, but now you're coming around a Cooey stone. Sweepers were close to this all the way down, just waiting for it to curl. Now it's really started to move just outside the hog line, and they're not going to get by. That was a bit of an unforced error. Certainly if they pick that up a little earlier, they get by. It looks like it had enough weight that he could have bit the top of the 8-foot, sat 3. Did leave the shooter in a spot where it's tough to make the double peel. Kevin looking for some kind of a double somewhere. I think what they've opted for is to run the guard onto the stone at the back of the 8-foot. Make 2 yellows go away. Needs to be close to the nose to catch the one at the back of the 8. It's going to be a little thin on the first one. Drives it by. Pulls the shooter out of play. Kenan looking at that same come around. Concern is how deep do you want it? He's everything he's looking at. He's worried about that red run back. If you make this too good and happen to force Kevin to run it back, you don't want to leave him. Well, heaven forbid to raise triple, but even to raise double, and I'm not sure how you stop that. Pressures were on this one right away. Certainly looks like they're holding the line. The question now will be whether or not it's got enough to get there. Well, again, just outside the hog line, really starts to curl. They get it by. Bring it into the top 12-foot. Looks to be 4th right now. Certainly didn't leave the separation they would have liked. The run back's fairly short. No triple, I don't think. Tyler Tardy would love to get 2 yellows here and leave that red at the top of the 12-foot. This is going to overcurl. Might have been a tad inside on it. Fortunate not to run it onto his own, and then maybe also unfortunate if he clips that yellow out of the top of the side of the 8-foot. That would have been a better result for him, but drives it through everything. This is the tough part anytime you're playing a team like a Kevin Cooey. And again, so many of the men's teams can play these shots. You're sitting 2 right now, I guess possibly 3. And where do you put this that you're not going to leave them an angle to perhaps get 2 or 3 in one shot? So looking to come around their own stone at the top of the 12-foot. Just about going sideways as it comes into the house. That's a stone in the top of the 12-foot, and he 3/4 or 7/8 buried it, half in the 4-foot. And as good as it looks, it might have left a chance for a triple. Certainly a chance for a double, even if you jam on that third stone just to get it out from behind your own. Got to clip the second one though, does, and the back of the third one, so they all go. And does the shooter stick around as well? It does. Stays for a bite of the 12-foot, so it's Cooey sitting second and third right now. And all of a sudden, in one shot, Wipf goes from putting pressure on to now trying not to give away 3. And coming around the other team's corner guard to do it. Not a comfortable feeling without last rock. Picked this up early, but it's not a hard scrub yet. Waiting for a line call. We know they move big coming up to the center. We haven't seen a lot of rocks coming away from center yet. This certainly doesn't take the same big movement that they were towards center. They got a piece under cover. Stayed high enough. Any attempt at a double would be really thin. Kevin looking at just hitting and rolling in front of that stone at the back of the 8-foot. One thing I should make note of, and somebody in the chat caught this earlier as well, hard to tell from the overhead. From the overhead, you can't tell. With both Tyler and Jacques wearing hats, you can't tell them apart from the overhead, but is Jacques Gauthier holding the broom for Kevin? You have to think part of that comes from the fact that Tyler Tardy is a natural left-hander, so with Carrick Martin and Tyler Tardy on the brush, they've got both guys on their stronger side. Saw some big weight hits from Kevin in the last end. A delicate shot here. This started curling early. Might have got it going a little on the brush early, but not going to get by. This is all over the guard. And probably a little light as well. It's not going to wouldn't have had enough weight to kill it, I don't think. Does make the double tap. And I'll have to see the overhead. It's hard to tell who's got second shot right now. Tell from this angle anyway. And I don't know if it matters. For Kenan, he has to separate the two shots. He can't leave him a chance for the double. Well, unless that was the indication, perhaps they're already sitting 2. So if you're sitting third anywhere on the right-hand side of the sheet as we're looking at it, there's not going to be a triple. The risk in coming to the same side is you could leave a triple. So looking to come with the wide out turn. Draw to the top of the 8-foot. He'll want to leave it fully on the broom side of center. Can accomplish a couple of things with this. Not only sitting 3, but if he sits in that spot in the top of the 8-foot, he can take away the natural out turn path to the button. And the in-turn path is almost blocked because of the corner guard. may see Kevin Cooey have to draw away from the center line to get his single point. Needs this to stop. It's going to slide a little too far. Will allow Kevin the chance to hit it. Looking at the double, but doesn't need it. Looks like the Yellowstone at the back of the 8-foot is third, so a double's only going to get him a single point. I think that that little look at the second stone might have been, well, if we over curl, we've got that one for a catcher. He's throwing this with upper weight, is the indication. One last look, and that might have been just to confirm who's actually got their shot. I don't know if they ever took a close look at it. From the overhead, we could see it certainly looks like 3 yellow. So Kevin Cooey with his final stone here in the fourth end of a tie game. Facing 3, needs the open hit, has to stay. And boy, that might have been a little outside on the release. He has got the quiet weight, but this is going to have to curl. Comes up nice as it crosses that hog line, just like we saw all the draws. Does hit it right on the nose. Kevin Cooey picks up a single point, and he'll take a 3-2 lead into the break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
You got one, you got two,
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Team's back at it rather quickly here. They do have the option to take a break after 4 ends. It's 8 end games here in Edmonton. I can tell you that after 5 ends, our feature game 3-2, we've got Maeda against Ryan Shack, 7-1 lead for Maeda. Reed Carruthers has a 3-0 lead over Chase Stinnett. Jason Tao and Ryland Clyder are tied at 3. And the other game that started at 11 is Evan Van Amsterdam at Andrew Dunbar. If you're looking for your favorite team, and it wasn't one of the ones I just mentioned starting at 11 o'clock, they were part of the staggered start. So the other 5 games just about to get underway. They'll start at about 12:30 local time. Fairly recent innovation to doing draws, and it's a great way to handle things at a facility like this with 10 sheets, so that the ice crew doesn't have to do everything at one time. Unfortunately, the technology that was used to set up draws on a computer by far predates that, and nobody thought of a way to set up 2 different draws like that. So they all show as an 11 o'clock start. Just keep that in mind as you're watching over the course of the weekend. If your favorite team hasn't started yet, they're probably on the staggered start. They'll be along shortly. And it does mean there's always going to be games for you to watch. Freeze attempt there a little strong and doesn't get to the line, so rubs off, leaves room for be Max Cinnamon. Got to come down and sit on top of his first shot, sit 2 here. Not able to get all the way to the forefoot. Does get probably half under cover. Protects his own stone at the top of the button. Sitting first and third right now. I don't think they can see enough to make a play on the second Yellowstone as well. I think this is just hit the one. If they're going to play it with quieter weight, though, they'd like to keep the shooter in play if they could. Supposed to get some finish by the guard. He might be able to make contact on the stone on the button. You'd really have to flirt with it coming by, though. Well, he's close. Just across the top of the second one. Does hold his shooter, though. So it's Wipf sitting 1. Who he has second and third right now. Wipf with the last rock. Looking to come in again on top of the 2 stones in the forefoot. This is the second, Michael Kenan. Rushers pick it up early. Line in, they switch the inside guy to get that last bit of curl. Does bring that into the top of the forefoot. Third shot for now, but tough to get at. He's going to look for the run back. Gauthier drives it by the 2 stones in the forefoot, the 2 yellow stones. Pulls his shooter off the center line. Probably a double available in the next one, depending what happens here. And that's the tough spot now for Kenan. You don't really want to throw a center guard with that last rock here. Going to play the hit on what is currently 4th shot, but probably his easiest way to get under that corner guard is the little hit and roll. Easiest way to get behind it and stay up high enough that Kevin would be able to play some kind of triple. Makes the hit, rolls towards the outside, and did it hang on to the rings? Probably doesn't make any difference to what shot they're going to play here. Looks like it's out from the overhead view. The only problem there is you're looking over the pinhole and you need to look over top of the rock. Still, that's enough white there that you tend to think that's going to be out. Tyler Tardy just looking to make the nose hit here, kill the back one and stay in front of the other Yellowstone. Oh, really nicely done. Kenan would like to make a play on that red stone at the back of the forward, as you see him indicating. The problem is, no matter where you roll, I think it's a pretty short red-yellow, and the red is coming across to get the double no matter where you roll here. On the brush early, we saw Kevin Cooey overcurl one going towards the corner last end. Got to get it by the front. Not going to. Now he's his weight quiet enough to save him. He might stick around somewhere. Does hang around for what is fourth shot currently. Kevin Cooey will make a play on it, though. He knows that for Kenan, the next move is still to make that same play, make a play on that stone back of the forefoot just off the corner of the button. And as long as he doesn't disturb the two in the middle right now, there's always going to be a shot to play the double later. The hit, rolls across, catches a bit of the forefoot, probably stopped just in time. If that rolls any further, that red-yellow combination would jam. Kind of changes the setup for Kenan. If you can hit and roll, and that's the indication, hit and roll to back forefoot on the other side, you create a pocket. Now that red-yellow at the top, that yellow's not going anywhere. The hit gets a bit of a rollover, and it looks like that's enough. Now, did Kevin Cooey see enough from the outturn side to play the double on the yellows? Enough of the top yellow. Maybe. It's tough. He's going to look to play the red onto the yellow. Probably the only yellow he can kill is the one on the button right now. He can kill all the backing, though. does kill the back two, leaves the red partially in front of the yellow, although I think that's what they're indicating. Somebody's foot made contact with it. It was going to roll farther than that. So the Yellowstone in the forefoot is shot rock belonging to Wipf. It is open, but he's got a chance to split the rings and set up his deuce here. Not critical necessarily that he gets this buried, but he's got to be far enough over there that he doesn't leave a double. Even a flat double, Kevin Cooey will take a run at it. Ideally, you get them dead even and 6 feet in between them. Starting to curl now. The line should be good. It's just a question of can you even them up. This is going to slide a little deep. Boy, that leaves them a little bit of an angle, and because it's a flat roll, you're going to throw the out turn, which I think we all know is Kevin Cooey's preferred turn. He's going to give this a go, and he's got as good a chance as anyone in the world at making this shot. Doesn't even have to get the second one all the way out. He comes into the side of it and just nudges it over about 2 feet, he'd be sitting 2. I think with the way he's going to throw, he's either getting them both or he hits the first one too thin and misses the second one altogether. Have to think he's going to be close on this. He actually threw the in-turn to get a little bit more action on the shooter because it's so flat. Makes the hit, comes across, does nudge it. Won't get it all the way out, but sits 2. No choice now for Kenan Wipf but to throw his draw, try to pick up the single. Even if you thought there might be a chance for that double, and this is farther apart, if you get onto the second red, it's just going onto that yellow at the back, and that would be a much tougher double than there's like 9 feet between those 2 rocks. It's just too far. So an attempt here to take your single, to tie things up again after 5 ends of play. Brusher's picked it up right out of his hand. Still with it. Needs to get a piece of the forefoot here. They're really going to have to go on this. Boy, these have been 2 excellent brushers. They have brought a lot of rocks in play for them. Holding line and carrying the weight. Gets a piece of the forefoot, does pick up his single point, and we are once again tied. Kevin Cooey will have last rock in the 6th.
You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
All tied up at 3 here as we begin playing the 6th inch. Shawn, Joyce with you live from the Saville Shootout. Presented by Curling Stadium, Edmonton. Just the one deuce on the board so far. Kevin Cooey with last rock in the first end. Through 2 draws to the 4-foot, picked up 2. He's got last rock here again in 6. Martin with a nice come around with his first stone at the top of the 4-foot. Max Cinnamon will look to come around from the other side, sit on the corner of that stone. Pressure's just cleaning it early, staying close. They really never swept that there was a panic, and I did think the indication was they were trying to play the corner freeze. They swept that like they wanted to have a center guard, though. Unfortunately, they've left the 2 of them very close together, and that's going to be an easy double peel after the 5th rock at the end. So Garrett Martin will play another come around here. Boy, this one's going sideways on them too. They might move those rocks. Boy, good job to get it by. Would have been interesting had he touched that. I don't know if he would have had enough weight to move either one of them off the center line. Of course, if you move either one of them from the center line, that would have been a violation of no tick. And now an uncomfortable situation for Kenan Wipf is that with those 2 staggered and 2 shot behind it, he's got to peel his own center guards and try to bail out of this end. Only able to get one of them, though. Stones in the top of the 4-foot now look to be mostly open, so they'll try to do what they call the Christmas tree. And Jones originating that phrase where you try to get half underneath the guard and then use your stone to half guard the 2 stones in the 4-foot as well. It's got room by the guard, but the way these curl, this is liable to over curl. Will stop just in time. Can't get to the nose of any of those reds. They're going to look to play the run back now. Makes the hit, drives it back by the 2 stones in the top of the 4-foot. Kevin Cooey continues to sit 2. Guard is off the center line now. Thinking about the come around. Yellowstone in the rings, his 3rd shot. There's really not much benefit to hitting it, other than, I guess, we keep the blank alive. But I don't think Kevin Cooey is thinking about a blank in the 6th. He wants to score here. Ideally, you'd like to score 2. You score in 6. You figure that the other team's going to score in 7, and you've got last rock coming home. He doesn't want a blank end here very bad. If you get forced in 7, and you're in a bad spot. If you get forced in 7, if you get forced in 6, even if you give up 2 and 7, you've got last rock coming home. You're only trailing by 1. So he's probably going to be willing to take a few more chances here to try and score his 2. So they actually throw a center guard. This is almost backwards to what you normally would expect. You see the team with last rock here throwing the center guard. The team without is trying to play the run back, but it's the situation that we're in because of the way this end is developed. And there is some danger here for Wipf playing the run back. You hit this just wrong, you could squirt one of those Reds in behind the corner guard. Manages to kill one of them. Where that rolled though. You might see Kevin Cooey make the play now on second shot rock, try to roll behind the corner. Could set up his deuce this way, and also it's fairly risk-free. There's not really a steal setting up anywhere. It's going to be open. He's always going to have a shot to pick up his single, even if things don't go well here. Makes the hit, stays right there. It is biting. And I don't think Wipf could get to the inside of that enough to play the double. So he's going to look to play shot stone and try to roll to that corner. Hard to know exactly how far you want to roll on this. You make the roll too good. Tyler Tardy runs back the stone he just threw, and he'd be sitting one buried. You certainly didn't want to roll out. An out turn for the left-hander. Tyler Tardy looking to come around the corner guard on the other side now. Sit 2, split the house. If you can bury this one for shot rock, it forces the Wipf team into a very difficult decision. Second shot's wide open, but he can't get enough of the inside of it to really roll into the house much. Ton of room by the corner guard. Now moving off the line. Boy, there's such big late finish here. Fantastic ice for these players. First indication they were looking at the long flat double. The question is, do you have enough room by the yellow? It's tight, where they're putting the broom down, and I'm looking at the hack-in camera. I think he's wishing he could see that much air. I don't think he can. Thinking now about the run back. An all or nothing shot. Could, I guess, also consider the angle on the yellow on the left side from the hack in to the right as we look at the overhead drive it onto the one that's just biting the 12-foot. Goes back to his original thought, make a play on the open stone, the second shot stone. And I guess if you're playing this stone, I don't think you want to roll. If you ever rolled half under that guard, that leaves a staggered guard on that side. Kevin Cooey comes around it. Now you're looking at potentially giving up 3. At least if you hit this on the nose, if Kevin Cooey comes around that side, you've got a short run back. One brush was down and cleaning, the other one indicating it might have been a little bit strong. Looks like they were playing the roll the whole way. I don't understand that. I don't like that call. You weren't going to roll in for shot rock. Might have rolled far enough that it made the draw difficult. There was no good result going that way. Only potential for bad. If you're going to draw to the center line, you want to be deeper. If you could walk it down and put it exactly where you want it to, you'd still play that out-turn draw through the middle and end up in behind those 2 yellows. The problem is it's tough to bury around a stone on the top of the 12-foot and still be in front of the tee line. If you're behind the tee line, Kenan follows you down, takes your end away. Could play the same in-turn, come towards your own. The danger then is you might leave some kind of a double. If you were coming to the middle, you'd want to be back far enough that any attempt to hit and roll behind the corners leaves you room to get at it and move it a couple of feet. I'm not sure how you get there, though. The 2 corner guards are in the way to draw to the back of the 4-foot, for instance. So he's going to go back to the original thought, try to come around the 2 yellows. It's not even critical that he be dead buried here. Just get a good piece in behind, stay in front of the tee line. You should have a chance for at least 2, and you'll still force Kenan into a very difficult shot with his last one. Had to wait for this one to curl. It's going now, but it took a lot longer to start than they were probably expecting. Bring it into the top of the 8-foot. It is just fully open. Again, I'm going to look to roll across behind the red stone on the other side of the 8-foot. There's probably room if you wanted to, if you needed to try to roll in behind the 2 yellows. The danger with that, though, you got to flirt with those 2 yellows. If you ever rub anything, it's 3 points. So with this shot, even if you don't make the perfect roll, it's not going to be any worse than 2. Still, it's only about a 3 to 4 foot roll. These are made all the time. You just need to make one at the right time. On the brush most of the way, he gets the hit. He'll get a bit of a roll, but stays out in the open. So Kevin Cooley with his final stone here in the 6th will have a chance to pick up 2 points. Only deuce on the board so far in this game. In the first end, Kevin Cooley with his final stone made a nice draw on that one. He'll have to make the hit here. Hold the shooter in play, but he's got a lot of room to roll. Indication from Tyler Tardy, the weight is quiet. Cleaning it most of the way down, will make the nose hit, rolls just across center. Put 2 points on the board for Kevin Cooley here in the 6th end of play. He'll take a 2-point advantage into the 7th. It'll be Wipf with last rock when we come back.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to...
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Kenan Wipf trailing by 2 as we begin here in the 7th end. Looking for his lead, Max Cinnamon. Throw the corner guard. The center guard thrown by Carrick Martin on his first. Being asked now to come around it. Interesting to see here how the Wipf team wants to approach this end. You know you need to score 2, but if you score 2, you're probably still losing the game at least 60% of the time. The problem is if you want to play aggressively for 3, you might lose at this end. Looks like he's going to opt to follow that stone down, although he's playing it from the other side. Try to sit in front of it. Could throw this second corner guard here as well if you wanted to really go hard for 3, but there's a lot of risk associated with that. Boy, has to get by the front one. This is a no tick. Gonna touch it. Now, did it leave the center line? And it did. So that stone goes back. The shooter removed from play. So a chance now for Jacques Gauthier to come down, sit on top of shot stone in the 4-foot. And the interesting thing about that is that on the next stone, they'll be able to peel, but they may want to continue putting pressure on here. Made that freeze so good that Wipf is going to have to look at making a play on the guard. He has to keep his shooter here on the corner somewhere. Would love to make contact with the two in the rings. Just drives it by the two in the house. Does get the shooter off the center line. Still, it's a chance for the Cooey team to continue to put some pressure on. If this was the 8th end, you'd probably see them peel the guards. In the 7th end, keep putting the pressure on, see if you can't get either a steal or a force. Maybe not have to play the 8th. Needs to get back to the center line. Doesn't want to leave him a court towards those two stones in the 4-foot. It's kind of decision time here for Kenan. He's looking at the double peel. If you make the double peel and spin out, you're probably losing all 3 guards, and now your chances of getting a deuce here are pretty much out the window. But your other options aren't good. You can play the run back on the yellow. If you miss it, it's still guarded. You play the peel on the red, and that gives them another chance to cover it. Well, he moves all 3 guards, but leaves himself 2 on the corner. That's probably the best result they could have hoped for on that shot. Tyler Tardy will look to cover the 2 in the center. Staying close to that one, but it's going to get there on its own. much dead lined up to the 2 in the top of the 4-foot. Kai McCauley now looking to come around, sit on top of those 2, maybe jiggle them just a little bit. He's got a really nice shot there. Gets enough of a jiggle on the 2 stones in the 4-foot. He's put the 1 behind the tee line now. Make a play on the stuff at the top. There'll be a freeze available. Kevin will elect to guard everything. The discussion there was about how deep do they want to put this guard. If you bring it in too tight, he runs it back. If you leave it up longer, he may try to run the existing guard across the top of the yellow that was just thrown. Kill that red at the top of the 4-foot and squirt the yellow in behind the corner guards. There's a really nice corner freeze with a tap. It doesn't matter where Kevin puts this stone. Kenan's going to have something to work with for the next one. This looks like it might over curl on them. Boy, he could almost play the same shot. That's what he's looking at. Maybe just a little bit more weight, the indication there. Trying to push yellow onto red, put that red behind the 4-foot somewhere, roll the shooter in behind the corner guard, I think was the indication. In the back line to hack. The problem is when you throw it a little bit extra weight, it's not going to get the same movement that he had on the last one. Swooping for every bit of curl they can get. They'll touch it. Enough to move it, and does hold the shooter. It is Kevin Cooey sitting 2, but 3rd and 4th belong to Kenan Wipf right now, and there is a double available on those 2 reds. And he's still got the tap available, the same tap he just threw twice. Pretty hard to take all of it away with one shot. But if you're going to take all of it away with one shot, the way you do it, the out-turn draw and get to the inside of his own stone at the back of the button. Then the tap wouldn't be able to get, you can't see the nose of that tap, you wouldn't be able to get shot rock. Got to get at least to the nose here, if not to the inside a little bit. This is the way to take the tap away, but there is some risk of leaving a triple here. Kevin Cooey with his first stone here in the 7th end. He's got a 2-point lead, sitting 2 right now. Looking to bring a 3rd one in and try not to leave away for Kenan Wipf to get 2 or 3 of them out. He's got room right now, but you know these are going to curl hard towards the center. Gets just to the nose, taps it back, leaves the 2 reds in a pocket at the back. Not sure that you can't get all 3 of them moving. It might be hard to get the 3rd one all the way out, but if you get it into the pocket, hit the one that would just tap straight back a little bit first and then catch the other one, it should at least spin out into the open, assuming you could throw it hard enough. You're going to lose the shooter. The other option I see is to throw it a little quieter, try to move both of those reds and leave your shooter in, I guess, the 3rd shot position somewhere. Looks like that's what he's opted for, quieter weight anyway. Boy, that looks like a lot of ice. You have to move the back 2 reds here. For some curl here, it looks like they're playing this just hit it straight back. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the call. I don't know how you score now. I guess maybe if you could see a little bit of the outside of that red. Is there a double that way? Kevin Cooey just guards it, and what if he got? Discussion there, just how much ice do they have to take to it? Got to guard the outside of that red. That's the only thing that Kenan's got. So I think I saw Jacques putting the broom down, remembering a shot earlier about this is where we had the broom and where we ended up. So how much more do we need for a guard in this spot? And the way we've seen these things curl, you certainly understand what Kevin's thinking. It almost feels like you can't take too much ice, but you don't want to leave them the fort either. Kevin Cooey with his final stone here in the 7th, just looking to throw the guard. This is a long ways out there. Curling now. Wow, curling a lot now. Puts it right where they tap the ice. It's looking like maybe the only choice Kenan might have is to play that one straight back, try to triple the reds. It's probably the only shot he's got to score. The upside for Kenan is if you make it, you're probably scoring 3. Looking at the long angle run in yellow onto yellow, catch the red, but I don't think it ever touches the back red. So looking to run that stone that was just delivered by Kevin Cooey pretty much straight back, just a little off center. You want to get it by the two yellows. Catch the red at the back of the button as thick as you can. And it's possible all three reds go and you could pick up 3 here. It's also possible it could be a steal of 2 and handshakes. We'll find out in about 9 seconds. Well, he's probably a little wide when he let it go, and all he does is double peel the guards. It'll be a steal of 2. Kevin Cooey with a 4-point lead. They're going to discuss it really quick, but I expect in a round-robin competition, you'll see the gloves come off and the handshakes. Kevin Cooey will pick up a 7-3 win here in this morning's action over Kenan Wipf. Both teams will be on the ice again later today in their respective round-robin pools. Just before we wrap up here from the Saville Center in Edmonton, I'll update you on the scores. Tau and Clyder are tied up at 6 as they play in the 8th. Reed Carruthers a 5-3 lead over Chase Stinnett, and that actually now a final. Takumi Maeda, an early 9-1 winner over Ryan Jacques. Evan Van Amsterdam trailing Andrew Dunbar 4-3 as they play. And that one on my stat sheet just showing in the 6th end. There were 5 other games that were listed for 11 o'clock starts. They all started at 12:30 in the staggered start. We're going to have staggered starts all day, so it doesn't matter what time you tune in. Somebody's going to be playing. Stay with us all day today and all weekend here on Curling Stadium Edmonton.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.